For this workout, you're going to need a small pillow, a strap or a belt, and then just some floor space and some wall space. Okay, our first exercise is strap presses. We're going to put a strap around our knees. Make sure that the width between your feet and your knees is about one fist width, so a couple inches. We're going to press out on the strap, hold for a second, and slowly release. So in this one, you really want to stay relaxed in your upper body. Relax your breathing. This is a good time to just release everything from the day. If this is the end of your day, you were probably hunched over a computer all day, your neck might be a little sore. This is a good chance to just release, just let it all open up through here. We're working the outside of the hips. So we're trying to get everything balanced as you press, hold, and release. Press, hold, release. Working from the inside out, hitting the hips first, the deeper stabilizers of the hips. This workout, we only need 3 pieces of equipment. We have our strap. Coming up next now, we have a pillow. You can use a special pillow or block. You can use a yoga block. Now we got knee pillow squeezes. Put the pillow between the knees, squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. The pillow is just a couple inches. This one I think is about 6 inches wide. You can do one that's 4 inches wide, something like that. So you're on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Just squeeze, hold for a second, and release. Squeeze and hold and release. The pressure is somewhere between 50% and 75% of your strength. Doesn't have to be really, really hard, but you do want to feel those muscles on the inner thigh. You want to feel them kind of waking up a little bit. Doing a little bit of work. Just about done with this one. Squeeze and release. Make sure you're breathing. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your hands. One more big squeeze and release. Okay, so next one. I'm going to demonstrate this against the wall, but this one is clamshells. So your knees are bent, feet flat on the wall. I'm going to lift up my knee, bring it down, lift up my foot, bring it down, and then lift up both the knee and the foot together and bring it down. So that's knee by itself, foot, and then both. So we have that external rotation in the hip, we have an internal rotation in the hip, and then we have what's called abduction, which is just bringing it straight out to the side. So external, internal, abduct. You want to feel this on the outer hip. We're hitting all ranges of motion of this top hip right here. Very important to stabilize the hip before we start working up the spine into those postural muscles. The postural muscles need something to sit on. They need a foundation. The best metaphor I've ever heard is if you don't have a foundation, it's like trying to shoot a cannonball out of a canoe. The canoe is just going to move. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Now we'll lay down on the other side. So we want a real sturdy foundation to shoot that cannon from. Go ahead and lift up that knee, lift up the foot, lift up both. Knee, foot, and both. Good. Clamshells. Second side of clamshells. With any of these exercises, if you have been doing this program for a little while, a couple weeks or more, feel free to pause the workout at any time and do more sets or more reps. Feel free to do that. On the other hand, if this is your first time doing it and you're really not used to using these muscles, again, feel free to take a rest right now. So make this workout your own. This is not a one-size-fits-all. This is a choose-your-own-adventure. Decide what you need based on what I give you. So you're the ultimate judge. You're the ultimate personal trainer for yourself. Okay, go ahead and rest. Let's do a quick roll out of that. We're going to do hip flexor lifts. So basically we're just on our back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. I'm going to lift up one leg till the hip and the knee are 90 degrees, and then bring it right back down, up and down. So we're on the same leg. That leg is just coming up and down. Try not to rest it when you get to the floor. Just touch and go right back up. Touch and go right back up. A lot of people, when they do this, they feel some clicking in the hip. It's not supposed to happen, but it's pretty normal. A lot of people, this happens to them. And it's because we sit so much in our society. We sit when we're in the car, we go to work, we're at the computer, we're watching TV. Everything we do is sitting. So most of our hips are really tight and stiff. So we're just trying to loosen them up a little bit. Again, we're building that foundation for your upper body, your spine, so that you can have that better posture as you go about your day. Try to minimize some of those aches and pains that you're walking around with. Okay, and let's switch legs. Take a deep breath first before you do. Go ahead and take a deep breath. And here we go, other side. Good. So notice a couple things. Notice if this side is maybe easier than the other side. Maybe it's a little harder. Maybe you feel one in one spot and you feel the other side in maybe a different muscle group. Just kind of notice a lot of these things. These are a lot of the questions we ask our personal training clients, just to get you to think about what you're feeling. Because it's really important. It's a progress gauge. It's going to tell you whether or not you're making progress. But if you don't ask these questions, then you're never going to know. So really important that you ask things like, where do I feel it? How hard is this? Do I feel it in the same spot as I felt it on the other side? Stuff like that. So almost done with this side. Then we're going to move on to the next exercise, which will be our last hip exercise in this little warm-up. Okay, so glute contractions. You're still on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Nothing is moving in this exercise. All I'm doing is I'm going to squeeze my butt. I'm going to contract my glute muscles and release. Contract and release. All we're trying to do here is wake them up. So we're not bridging up or anything like that. We're just squeezing. Be really aware. You want to squeeze your glutes without your hamstrings working. Squeeze your glutes and release. For a lot of people, this is really difficult at first, and that's totally fine. One thing that helps is if you just put your hands on the side of your hips here, and then you can kind of create that mind-muscle connection so that your body can actually feel the glutes working. Once you get better, it's a lot easier. And actually, once you get better at this, then we're ready to progress and use your glutes in other ways, like doing bridges and stuff like that. Almost done with this one, and then we're moving on to the shoulders. Good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So, still going to be lying here on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. We're doing elbow curls. You're going to curl your fingers around just like that. Bring your knuckles to your temples, pull your elbows to the floor, and then you're going to bring your elbows toward each other and then back to the floor. Toward each other, back to the floor. One of our clients calls this knuckleheads. It's a good name for them. You got your knuckles on the side of your head, elbows are flapping like a bird. Touch the elbows to the floor, come back forward, backwards and forwards. Should be nice and relaxed. You want to be moving the shoulders without the neck engaging at all. If your neck is engaging, go a little bit smaller with the range of motion. You don't necessarily have to do the full range right away. Although that's the goal eventually, you don't have to be perfect right away. In fact, trying to be perfect, trying to do this 100% perfect right off the bat might get you into trouble. You need to modify it if you need to. Good, just about done with this one. Okay, and rest. Okay, next one is reverse presses. We're going to bring your elbows to shoulder level. Your hands are pointed toward the ceiling. You're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and release. So if these are my shoulder blades at my upper back, they're going to squeeze like this and release. Squeeze and release. Right, like that. Good. Okay. So this one again, this is real similar to the glute contractions in that nothing's really moving that you can see. You may be able to see a little movement in my shoulder, but it's not a huge movement. The main thing we're trying to do here is re-engage the muscles of the upper back. And we want to do it in a safe, secure way where you're staying stable, your neck and head are supported. You're not having to worry about any tension in your neck. So everything there is supported. Just about done with this one. Good. One more and relax. Let the shoulders shake out a little bit. Okay, next one is snow angels, just like when you were a kid. On your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, palms on the floor by your hips. You're going to come up to shoulder level. Flip the hands, palms up. Continue over your head. Come back down to shoulder level. Flip your palms down. Continue down toward your hips. So just like when you were a kid, making snow angels in the snow, except we're not using the legs on this one today. When you get up to the point where you're over your head, right here, you might hit a point where you go, oh, I can stretch through it, I can do it. Try not to get to that point. When you hit that first resistance, just stop right there and go right back down. Your body, if you go into resistance and you go into tension, then you're just creating more tension. The purpose of these exercises is to release tension. So right when you hit that wall, come right out of it. Right there, boom, you're coming right back down. Okay, go ahead and rest. We're still on our backs, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And we're gonna do goalposts. Elbows out to the side, hands open. You're gonna rotate your elbows, or excuse me, your wrists closer to the floor and back up. Wrists to the floor, back up. So you're going from fingertips pointed straight up to wrists on the floor, up and down. Now this one, just like the other ones, if you feel tension going up the neck, anything like that, maybe you can only go this far at first, and you stay in this range for a couple weeks, and then gradually you're going to get more and more and more. Good. So do what you can, and then little by little your range of motion will improve. But if you force it, then it usually won't. If you force it, again, you're creating tension. This workout especially, this is the beginner posture workout. This workout is not designed to create much tension at all. It's not really strengthening, it's really more just repositioning your muscles and your bones. All right, grab your weight. I got 5 pounds here. You can use a can of soup if you want, anything. Okay, you're gonna lay on your side, rotator cuff. Pull your elbow to your side. You're gonna come up and down with this bent elbow, just like that. Now this is really important to train the back of the shoulder. This is the one, probably the most strength building exercise out of all the ones we're doing today. This is actually building strength in that rotator cuff. 5 pounds is a lot of weight to start with. Doesn't seem like a lot, but doing it for a minute, it's a lot of weight to start with. I would start with 2 pounds, and that's about a can of soup. Start with 2 pounds, work your way up slowly, and eventually you'll get to the point where you can do more. But with these, really you want to add weight one at a time, and little by little you'll get there. So you want to keep the weight slow and steady. We're just about done here, and then we're going to switch sides. Make sure you're moving the arm, but you're also moving the shoulder blade too. All right, let's go ahead and switch. I'm going to lay on my other side now. Bend the top elbow, bring the elbow into my side. Support my head, up and down with that arm. Ask that question again, is this side easier, harder than the other side? Most of us are right-handed. I think 70–80% of us are right-handed. So most of us do everything with our right. But even if you are left-handed, you're shaking hands with your right hand, you're doing a lot of stuff with your right hand. So our arms have different obligations that they have to carry out throughout the day, and very rarely are they balanced when you first start this. That's why we do exactly the same work on the left as we do on the right. Your workout is the best time to balance everything, because you're not going to get the balance out in the real world. Almost done. One more. And down. Okay. I'm going to throw that weight over there. Next one's called pullovers. You're going to be on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Interlace your hands out in front of you. Elbows are straight, and you're going to come right over your head. So pullovers is another one. There should be no tension in this at all. If your hands do not touch the floor easily, then don't touch the floor. Wherever you stop, wherever you feel that tension, that's where you're going to stop. That's your range of motion. Again, you cannot release tension by producing tension. Not in this exercise, at least. So you're just going to rotate down and back up. This should feel like the easiest thing in the world. If it doesn't, shorten the range of motion. We've had people come in here and literally this is their range. And they think they're never going to progress, but they work this range for a couple weeks and then they're down here. And then they're down here, they think they're never going to progress, and then one day they come in and they're just on the floor and their shoulders are hitting or their hands are hitting the floor. So be where you are. Don't judge yourself. Let your body open up when it's ready, because it will open up. Okay, go ahead and rest. We're going to flip over. We're going to do prone quad stretch. We've kind of done the core. We're going to finish stretching the legs. So you're going to bring the knees together, bend the foot, bring the foot up to your glute. You want to squeeze your glutes because you actually want to flatten your lower back. If you're like this with a big arch in your back, flatten the back, push your hips to the floor. Bring your heel to your glute on the same side. You want your knees touching each other. Press your hips down to the floor. Now this one too, when you first start, you may be way back here. You may not even be able to reach your foot. That's totally fine. Loop a belt around your ankle and just hold the belt like this. And eventually you'll be able to grab that ankle or that foot and pull it toward your hip. Squeeze your glutes, press down into the floor, squeeze your abs, flatten your lower back a little bit. When you do that, you'll feel more of a stretch in the quad. Take a big deep breath. And switch. Good. Okay, shake it out a little bit. We'll switch to the other side. Okay. Remember, knees together. Pull the heel to the glute. Squeeze the abs. Squeeze the glutes. Relax your arms. Relax your neck. It's a really important exercise to be doing to open up the front of the hip, the front of the leg, just to get everything open. We spend a lot of time sitting, so our legs get real stiff and tight. And we're almost done. We only have 2 more exercises after this one. Just about done. It's a good way to start your day. It's also a good way to kind of unwind at the end of the day. Great way to go to sleep. Get yourself out of your head a little bit and into your body. Almost done here. Squeeze your glutes, push your hips down. Okay. Alright, let's jump up here. Let's get a hamstring stretch going here. So, if you're not very flexible, you may need a stool. This is called spread foot forward bend. I'm going to bring my feet wide, pointed straight ahead. I'm going to lean down, put my hands on the floor. Now only touch the floor if you can keep your back arched with your legs straight. If you can, you're up here on a stool. Okay, we're going to go right here, bending down toward the floor, thighs tight. Okay, let's walk over to one leg. Keep both knees straight. Walk over, grab one ankle. Now we don't do these stretches right when we start because we had to warm up everything. We had to warm up the hips and the shoulders. Notice how these are the first kind of stretches that we're doing. Go ahead and switch to the other side. You don't want to stretch a cold muscle. I want to make sure it's moving, warmed up, in the right position. Okay, let's go back to the middle, bend to the knees, come right out of it. Find yourself a wall. We're doing static wall. This is our last exercise of this set. You can choose to go on to the next batch if you want to. You can do core, you can do balance. Go next to the wall, throw your legs up the wall. Thighs tight. You want your thighs tight, you want to pull your toes down, and you want your butt touching the wall. Now if your tailbone is off the floor, like if you're doing one of these things like this, like your hamstrings will just not go, then move off the wall a little bit. But eventually you'll be touching the wall. This is another one though, you really want to go at your own speed. If there's no way you can get into this position, wedge it into the wall, don't force it. You may be off the wall a couple inches or even a couple feet. We've seen it before, and I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I was off the wall when I first started. So you're not going to be in the perfect position necessarily right when you start doing this. So practice though. Just keep practicing, you'll get better and better. Thighs tight, pull your toes down, we're almost done. Good. Okay. So that's the beginner posture. Go on to another workout now if you're ready. If this is your first time doing this, you're probably good for the day. And keep doing this every day. Remember, you can do this every single day because you're not breaking down muscle. So you can keep doing this over and over every day, even twice a day if you want to. Thanks for watching.